Right now, Vermont state officials are preparing to give their regular Friday coronavirus briefing. Let's listen in live to Montpelier now.
Thanks for tuning in. We've got several things to discuss today, including our usual vaccine update from Secretary Smith and health update from Dr. Levine. As well, I'm going to briefly highlight our proposal for the nearly $1 billion we'll be receiving from the American Rescue Package and talk about the launch of a very exciting summer program initiative for our kids. We're thrilled to be joined virtually by Senator Sanders, who's been a great partner and advocate on this issue, and it's a priority we both share. So first, as you know, last month Congress passed and President Biden signed the American Rescue Package. As part of this proposal, Vermont will receive over $1 billion to help invest in our state and build a foundation for long-term recovery and prosperity. We're very fortunate to have a powerful congressional delegation representing us. Senator Leahy, who chairs the Senate Appropriations Committee, and Senator Sanders, who chairs the Budget Committee, and Congressman Welch, who is well respected on both sides of the aisle. Their work has given Vermont a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make strategic, transformative, and tangible investments on priorities we share to build a more prosperous and equitable future for our state. Earlier this week, I outlined my plan for how I'd like to spend this $1 billion. First, access to affordable, high-speed broadband is an economic necessity in the 21st century. This is something we've all known for years, but it's become even more apparent during the pandemic, as many Vermonters worked remotely and more kids had to work and learn online. I'm proposing we invest more than $250 million to expand rural broadband so that all corners of the state are connected. Second, I'm recommending spending another almost $250 million for the largest housing investment in our state's history. Access to safe and affordable housing is another area of need that we've struggled with and has been a regular topic in Montpelier and communities across the state. Because of the pandemic, nearly 2,000 Vermonters experiencing homelessness have been living in hotels and motels over the last year. My plan would significantly increase our shelter capacity and construct permanent housing for those in need. It also builds more than 5,000 housing units to help middle-income families who've been priced out of the market. Third, we know climate change is a major threat to our planet and to our economy. My plan invests $200 million, by far the largest climate investment in our state's history, to help reduce our greenhouse gas emissions and enhance resiliency. We also know that many communities struggle with aging or non-existing water, sewer, and stormwater infrastructure and can't afford it on their own. My proposal provides $170 million to make these critical investments, improving quality of life, attracting economic opportunities, while also reducing pollution and adding to what we already spend to clean up our lakes, streams, and waterways. Lastly, I'm proposing $143 million for economic development, helping those struggling small businesses who've been hit hard by the pandemic rebuild and recover, and giving communities the tools they need to build a solid foundation so they can succeed long into the future. Now, I'm happy my vision and these priorities are shared by many in the legislature, but I also know they'll have some of their own ideas as well. I look forward to working with them in order to take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make monumental and transformative investments which will build a stronger future. And again, I want to thank Senator Sanders and the rest of our congressional delegation for their work laying the groundwork for this incredible opportunity. Next, the reason Senator Sanders has joined us today is to discuss a priority we both share, which is to give all Vermont kids safe, enriching, impactful, and fun summer opportunities. My team, the Agency of Education, Senator Sanders' office, and other partners have been working with Vermont After School to expand accessibility and options for Vermont families this summer. Here's why this is so important. As you've heard us talk about before, this has been a tough year for our kids. Less in-person learning, the loss of connection with friends and classmates, the lack of nutritious meals, physical education, sports, drama, music, clubs, and other social events. So with the end of the pandemic in sight, we want to do whatever we can to give our kids a great summer, to replace some of what they've lost. Today, we're announcing our plan to expand programming so more families have access to these summer options and grant funding to help make this a reality. Deputy Secretary Boucher will go into further detail about how this will work and where Vermonters can find options. This summer, as we begin to transition to more normalcy, this will not only be a great opportunity for our youth, but a great opportunity for our communities to be creative as well. Working together, we can have a huge impact and help our kids in so many ways. With that, I'll now turn it over to Senator Sanders, who's been a passionate advocate for this and for Vermont kids. I thank you, Senator Sanders, for being with us.
Well, Governor, thank you very much for the opportunity to say a few words. Thank you for your leadership during this terrible, terrible year. And we thank the legislature, and we thank our state employees, our teachers, and all Vermonters who have come together in what has been the most difficult year in our lifetimes. As the governor indicated last month at 5 o'clock in the morning after a 16-hour debate, the American Rescue Plan was passed by one vote. And that legislation, in my view, is one of the most significant pieces of legislation to help working families passed in a very, very long time. As all of you know, it includes $1,400 per person direct payment. That's $5,600 for a family of 4. It extends unemployment benefits with a $300 supplement through September. It does something very, very important also in expanding, Governor, the child tax credit. As I think we all know, childhood poverty in America is much too high. We think that expanding the child tax credit will lower childhood poverty in America by up to 50%. And obviously, we put billions of dollars into vaccines and the need to get vaccines in the arms of the American people. Last Sunday in the United States, 4 million people were vaccinated on one day. We've got a long way to go, but we are making progress. We were able to expand community health centers in that bill, so very important for Vermont. As the governor indicated, what we also did is addressed a long-standing problem, but one that has been terribly exacerbated by the pandemic. This has been a very difficult year for everybody, and it's been especially difficult for the young people. Kids have not had regular schooling. Some have not been to school at all or just part-time. They have not been able to be with their friends. Kids who are going to college are worrying about how they're going to get the credits that they need. Kids who are looking forward to getting jobs are worried about that as well. And on top of that, we have had a long-standing problem in this country in terms of after-school activities. In my view, and I speak for myself, we're about 100 years behind. You know, all over America, in the state of Vermont, mom goes to work, dad goes to work, school ends at 2:30, 3 o'clock. What happens to the kids? And I think there is a growing understanding that we have got to strengthen our after-school program as well. With all of those factors in mind, the especially difficult year that we have had and the chronic problems we've had with summer programming, inadequate funding, after-school program, of what we were able to do in this American Rescue Plan is significantly increase funding for summer programs, after-school programs, and enrichment programs for kids in general. And by significant increase, I'm talking about a tripling of funding over the next 3 years. That means the state of Vermont will see, above and beyond normal funding, some $71 million for summer programs, after-school, and enrichment programs. And that is on top of the normal funding that comes into the state. And God knows, I think that money is needed, and I look forward to working with the governor and the legislation to make sure that we spend it in the most imaginative, creative, and cost-effective way possible. Now, what do we want to accomplish? And I think the governor already made some of the key points. Number one, this money is going mostly to school districts around the state. So my appeal to school districts is we have got to make these programs affordable or free. My own preference would be actually making them free. Every family in the state of Vermont, regardless of their income, should know that come this summer, there are going to be really great programs available for their kids. And no matter what the income of that family is, those kids are going to be able to get into that program. That is enormously important. Second of all, and the governor touched on this as well, clearly there's going to have to be a strong academic component to the summer programs. Kids have lost schoolwork. Summer programs are going to help them make that up. We want some intellectual enrichment programs for several decades now. I think beginning under Governor Spelling, we've had the Governance Institute, which has really been very, very successful summer programs where kids have been able to get education above and beyond, whether it's engineering, whether it's social studies, math, or whatever it may be. And I hope that this funding will be able to expand that program and make it more affordable for our kids. I have talked to a number of young people. There is in this state a great interest in the arts, in theater, and music, and I hope we can inject that into the summer programming as well. And for those kids who may have developed some special problems during this difficult year of isolation, I hope we will be able to reach out to our mental health staff around the state to get their help as well. But in addition to academics, obviously we want a strong recreational program. I suspect many of the school districts will be working with their parks and rec departments, so we'll need a strong recreational component. Also, I think that for many of the older kids, there will probably be an employment component as well. There are families that have lost income who may need to make that up over the summer. Kids want to put aside a few bucks for college or whatever. And also there is the opportunity to do apprentice-like programs with the private sector, maybe jobs created through the state in doing some important work where the kids can learn as they do it. So my appeal to school districts around the state is this has been an unprecedented year, and we have got to respond in an unprecedented way. We have the resources. Let us be creative. Let's work together to come up with programs that become a model for this country. And after we do that this summer, let's develop very strong after-school programs, which are so terribly important as well. We have the funds to do that now. So, Governor, thank you very much for the opportunity to join you this morning, and look forward to working with you.
Thank you very much, Senator Sanders. And this is just a prime example of it doesn't matter your politics. There's always a way to come together. There's a common thread that weaves us all together. And in this regard, we're on the same page. And I can't thank Senator Sanders enough for creating this opportunity for us for this summer. With that, I'm going to introduce Heather Boucher, our Deputy Secretary of Education, to go over more details of this tremendous opportunity.
Thank you, Governor. Good morning. I'm pleased to announce the formal launch today of a new initiative designed to ensure that all Vermont students have accessible opportunities for enrichment and fun, as you've heard about already this morning, while also, of course, staying safe in the coming months. As Governor Scott noted, we believe this summer is a critical time for us to come together, continue to move forward after our collective experiences with COVID-19, and above all, celebrate and enjoy all that our beautiful state has to offer. And it was a pleasure to see Senator Sanders echo those sentiments as well. What will this look like for families and students? First, as you've already heard, we want every child and every adolescent to have access to something fun and engaging this summer, whether that is a full-time parks and recreation or camp experience, a summer internship or pre-apprenticeship for our older youth, combined school and community summer programming, immersion in a favorite or new activity through local library offerings, or simply taking advantage of the beautiful natural opportunities our gorgeous state offers. We want all children and youth to participate in something great this summer, no matter their age, their family background or financial resources, their primary language, geographic location, ability status, or specific interests. To accomplish this vision, Vermont AOE is partnering with Vermont After School and personnel from the state departments of health, mental health, Voc Rehab, and Fish and Wildlife, in addition to educators and practitioners in the field, to substantially expand offerings for children and youth this summer. First, we'll be using state set-aside dollars, and you heard a little bit about those from Senator Sanders, to launch a new grant program to expand both the number of available slots and length of summer programming. All types of nonprofit organizations, community partnerships and programs, and school community collaborative endeavors will be able to apply for funds to provide programming for more students, for more hours in the days or days in the week than previously available. We're especially interested in applications that build in more affordability and accessibility for students and families. You also heard that echoed by the two previous speakers this morning. We're also strongly encouraging and supporting new partnerships in regions of the state that have had difficulty offering summer programming before now. And we'll have more details available in the days ahead about specific application procedures, eligibility criteria, allowable expenses, and technical assistance and supports, certainly, to accomplish this expansion. Second, we are excited to offer a new website, Summer Matters, pulling together all aspects of this summer initiative in one place. If you go to the next. There are specific parts of this website that are tailored for youth and students. Again, as mentioned, they'll be able to look for summer jobs that are available. We know that staffing of a summer expansion is critical, and so we're hopeful that through partnerships with youth looking for summer employment, we can find the sweet spot there. And then if you go to the next slide, another important feature is a state map that is really critical for families and also youth to be able to see, no matter their region, what opportunities are available. And families and youth will be able to actually click in on one of these dots and find, which we can't do right now because this is a screenshot, and they'll be able to get a real nice summary of all the different features for each of those particular sites. Things like meal availability, the weeks and duration and hours of the experience, any accommodations for participants, and then, as I said, available jobs for youth, and much more. And as you can see, we are striving toward full state coverage. However, there are still a couple of areas with relatively few opportunities on the map, and we'll be actively communicating with potential partners, organizations, and entities in these areas to provide assistance for standing up summer programming. Third, we are also offering a variety of professional learning opportunities for existing and new programs this summer, focused on safe and healthy operations, best practice activities, and ensuring that summer enrichment opportunities accommodate students from all backgrounds, including students with disabilities. We've developed a checklist to assist summer programs in moving towards safe, inclusive operations in the coming months. To close, I strongly encourage our local school districts and community organizations to collaborate in designing and offering innovative, enriching experiences for our students this summer. We know that everyone is tired and certainly needs a rest after navigating this year, but this summer also presents a critical critical opportunity for us to further assist students and their families in healing and well-being. And I know that we all share a commitment to ensuring that our students are as well as they can be. The requirements and purpose of federal ESSER dollars indicate that our Summer Matters activities should be a core part of each district's recovery planning and implementation strategies. We urge districts and schools to use their local ESSER recovery funds to design engaging opportunities, incorporating both education and fun activities in the broader community or region. I'll also reiterate that more information is forthcoming on how to access grant funds and attend professional learning opportunities. AOE will continue to work with districts on school-based programs as part of our broader recovery planning efforts. And families should continue to reference this new website, which we'll provide the link to, for up-to-date information about options available in their specific region. I'll now turn the podium over to Secretary Smith for his update.
Thank you, Deputy Secretary, and good morning, everyone. Today I'll provide an update on our progress with the vaccination program and tell you about a new federal resource to assist Vermonters that may have lost a family member due to COVID-19. As I mentioned at the last press conference, we opened up registration for Vermonters age 40 and older as of Monday. As of this morning, 28,100 Vermonters in this age group have made appointments. Turning to BIPOC Vermonters and their household members, 5,353 individuals have made appointments to date on the state's registration site. We are moving in the right direction, but as I said on Tuesday, we need more BIPOC community members to sign up. You can make an appointment at one of our health partner clinics through the state website at healthvermont.gov/myvaccine. If you are unable to sign up online, you can call 855-722-7878. Press 1 if you need interpreter services. Overall, in terms of our overall progress, as of this morning, 244,400 people have been vaccinated in Vermont against COVID-19. 88,200 have received their first dose of vaccine. 156,200 have received their first and last doses. I also want to share another Essex County update. Upper Connecticut Valley Hospital in Colebrook, New Hampshire will begin vaccinating Vermonters on Mondays beginning April 19th. We are very appreciative of this new partnership. We can make appointments. You can make appointments, and again, this is going to sound familiar because I'm going to say it multiple times throughout my remarks through the state website at healthvermont.gov/myvaccine. If you are unable to sign up online, you can call 855-722-7878. Moving on to homebound individuals, 3,671 have received their first dose of vaccine. Those that are homebound and qualify for a vaccine can call. It's a different number, so just I want to point that out, that this is a different number to call if you're a homebound individual to get a vaccine. 833-722-0860, Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 4:30 for an appointment. And a quick pharmacy update. A few more pharmacies have joined the federal pharmacy program. Shaw's will begin vaccinating Vermonters today, and Rite Aid and Price Chopper will begin vaccinating on Monday, April 12th. As a reminder, for those aged 30 and older, registration for your age group will open on Monday, April 12th at 8:15 a.m. I'll wrap this up by letting you know that beginning April 12th, as part of the federal COVID-19 emergency relief package, financial assistance will be available for families who have lost a loved one due to COVID-19. Under the Funeral Assistance Program, those who have paid funeral expenses for loved ones whose death was attributed to COVID-19, they can qualify for up to $9,000 in reimbursement, and those who have lost more than one family member can qualify up to $35,000 in reimbursement. For more information about eligibility requirements and to complete an application, please call the Federal Emergency Management Agency hotline at 844-684-6333. Online registration is not available. We are very sorry for your loss. At this time, I'll turn it over to Dr. Levine for a health update, but I just want to remind 30 and older, Monday, you can register. Thank you very much.
Good morning. As you may have noticed with our data, we are still seeing fluctuating, sometimes higher case numbers in Vermont, on some days reaching into the 200s. Yesterday was 145. Our positivity rate is at 2.0%. We are fortunately down to 23 hospitalizations as of today, 7 patients in the ICU. There was one additional death, a sad reminder to us all that the virus is still here, raising our total to 231. I've talked about the various factors we believe are driving this increase. For some, a willingness to take more risks. In other cases, gathering more. Pandemic fatigue. Feeling like the pandemic is over, even though we're not quite there yet. And of course, I've mentioned the variants of concern, which do make the virus more transmissible from person to person. The variants we found in Vermont include B117, B1429, and as I mentioned on Tuesday, the P1 variant. We are finding B117 much more frequently now in both samples selected because they were having a higher probability of showing B117, as well as in randomly selected specimens. This is entirely consistent with the CDC's proclamation that the strain is indeed becoming the dominant strain across the country. It also confirms the wastewater data validity that we've had. Regarding the P1 specimen, this was actually found in a New Hampshire resident who was being tested in Vermont. But as with all the variants, we should assume this means it may be circulating in our state, as the virus, of course, knows no borders. With variants in the picture, Vermonters should know that high case counts and outbreaks are likely to continue in the very near future, primarily affecting people who are not fully vaccinated. That means our younger populations who are not eligible for vaccination yet. And I have to still emphasize the incredible success of our vaccine program to date with very, I won't call it rare, but uncommon cases in the over 65 age set, and even less common adverse outcomes in terms of hospitalizations or deaths. This will continue as we get lower and lower in age band across the population. But we still face these same challenges, so I again need to say, this pandemic is not yet over. We can't let the virus spread faster than we can get Vermonters vaccinated. Masks on faces, 6-foot spaces, uncrowded places is more important than ever right now. Certainly stay outside when you can, keep your social circles small, have the COVID talk to set any boundaries before you have any get-together. And get vaccinated as soon as you are eligible. This includes people who have had COVID-19. We don't want to have you rely only on the immunity from having had COVID, because we don't know precisely how long it lasts, although probably 6 or more months. Getting vaccinated will boost that immunity and give people better protection that much of the scientific community believes is longer lasting. We've now laid out Vermont's path to reopening, but it will only work if Vermonters are truly committed to helping us get there. And speaking of that pathway forward, I want to note that the state's new travel guidance begins today. The CDC continues to recommend delaying travel until you are fully vaccinated, especially now when there are still high levels of virus. But if you do travel, make sure you understand Vermont's new policy. If you are a visitor to Vermont, you will need to get tested 3 days before you come here. If the test is negative, you may come visit the state armed with your documentation of your negative result. If you happen to be a Vermonter who has left for a week's vacation and is coming back to the state, you need to get tested in Vermont within the 3 days of your return, counting the return day as day 0. A quarantine period is no longer required for travel, but I want to emphasize that you should still be following all of the basic public health guidance. That means if you have any symptoms, stay home and stay away from other people until you receive a negative test result. Even if the test you got within the 3-day travel window was negative, if you start to not feel well, stay home and get another test. And of course, if and when you are out of state, abide by our universal guidance to stay safe and protected. As the governor said on Tuesday, we believe the testing strategy will be easy to follow with so much testing available to Vermonters. So we expect we'll see more compliance and catch cases a little earlier. This new travel guidance is now available on our website at healthvermont.gov/COVID-19. On this same note, I'd like to remind students and families who may have school vacation coming up to review the new travel guidance and avoid large gatherings, whatever your activities may be during your break. Following the same basic prevention guidance is critical to a safe return to school afterward. Help protect your family, your school, and your community at this time while virus spread is still ongoing. Let me end with 2 public health topics quickly. The first of these is something we've discussed frequently and quite accurately based on yesterday's CDC announcement, and it regards surfaces and the virus. The 3 take-home messages are: 1, the risk of contracting the virus from surfaces is quite low, possibly as low as 1 in 10,000. 2, transmission of the virus is almost always by breathing. It is airborne. Masking is way more important than disinfecting surfaces. And 3, when you do clean and disinfect, soap and water are probably all you need. Finally, and important to me, I want to acknowledge that this has been National Public Health Week. Probably not something that's on everybody's radar screen at this point in time, and that you don't all celebrate in the same way we in the public health world do. But I hope in this unprecedented pandemic, you'll join me in recognizing the incredibly hard work of our public health staff. Even throughout the past year of this emergency response, we've tried to keep a focus on one of our main public health goals: for all people to have a fair and just opportunity to live a long and healthy life. We've much work to do on this front. Public health never sleeps, but when it comes to COVID work, we would like to take the opportunity to thank a number of our partners and grassroots organizations who have played a key role in equitable outreach efforts. Some of these include the Association of Africans Living in Vermont, the U.S. Committee for Refugees and Immigrants, the UVM LEND program, NAACP for Windham County and Rutland area chapters, the Racial Justice Alliance, the Vermont Professionals of Color Network, the Black Perspective, the cities of Burlington and Winooski, Bridges to Health, Open Door Clinic, Little Rivers Healthcare, Vermont Developmental Disabilities Council, the Clemens Family Farm, the Abundant Community Liaisons from the Vermont Public Schools, and I'm sure there are many more. So to all of the volunteers, interpreters, cultural brokers, community members who have poured their hearts into this work, we extend our utmost gratitude for all you have done and continue to do to support Vermont communities. Governor?